Hey, what is going on? Welcome to Beautiful Start Podcast. I am your host, Antoinette. Today is an amazing day, but first I have to give a disclaimer. If you hear any noise in the background, it is beyond my control. I can't control that. But I wanted to come to you guys with the topic. The topic is working on yourself regardless of what people are saying. Regardless, right? Because we're going to have haters. That's it doesn't matter what level you on. You know what I'm saying? You could just be starting out in the world in terms of, you know, just finish school and you enter in a world. You enter in a work world, right? Outside of school, and people want you to be a failure. They have certain type of mindsets that they have on you already, right? But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what no one thinks about you. It matters what you think about yourself or how you feel about yourself or what you want for yourself. That's what it boils down to, right? Your mindset, your perception, how you the choices that you making, right? I see that there's a lot of people out there who like to blame other people for where they are at in their life. At some point, you gotta just throw away certain things, right? Especially if it's not in alignment with where you want to be in your life now, right? Some people try to hold on to what their parents told them, right? What their parents told them, their parents told them how to maneuver in life or what it is that they have to do, right? And sometimes people are saved by what their parents are saying. You know what I'm saying? Based off of um the griminess of the world. Right? You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes but people are entitled to living their life how they want to live it. Right? At the end of the day, if you don't want to listen to your parent, you don't want to you want to live your life how you want to live your life or whatever the case may be, and then you find out along your journey that okay, well, maybe I made the wrong decision, or maybe this person that I was following, or maybe this person advice, because sometimes people don't believe in themselves enough to follow their intuition or to follow what it is that they want to do, and so they follow other people, and along the journey they find out that it was really BS. It was bullcrap and what they was learning in life. And that's fine. That's you living your life, right? Because your experiences when you was 18 is not going to be your experience when you're 30. It's damn sure ain't going to be your experience when you're in your 40s, right? And because you're going to have a different level of how you think or how you feel or how you maneuver, you're going to have build up experiences. When you get 30 years old, you're going to have built up experiences to what it is that, you know what I'm saying, you've gone through. And then also the education that you acquire or the books that you read, or it could just be something that, that intuitively that you like, yo, I don't want to do this or whatever the case may be. But that's something that you have to come to in your own journey in life. Straight like that. Right? I'm in like where I'm at in my life, I don't want to tell people how to live their life because I don't want people to tell me how to live my life or what I should do or how to feel or how to maneuver. You know what I'm saying? So I have to be conscious of, even if I see somebody and I'll be like, all right, damn, like the choices that you're making is not, it's not going to be beneficial in the long run, because regardless of how you feel or what you're going through, this like what I learned in my 42 years, like even though I feel young as hell, I feel young. Like I don't care what nobody say. Like when I wake up in the morning, I feel like as if I'm young. feel young, right? But reality standpoint, reality, real life, right? I'm gonna be a buck, being very truthful, right? I'm an old ass motherfucker. I'm old as hell, B. Regardless, I'm grandma status. Like when you think about it, like people my age have grandchildren. I don't have grandchildren, right? At least that's why I don't think I do. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But like I'm old. But as I'm getting older in life and living life, like I feel the same. Like people don't prepare you for shit like this. Well, maybe they have, like, you know, based off of um just being happy and stuff like that. And I just feel like, there's some people out there who are just content and happy and accepting where they are in life regardless, right? But there's some people out there that is caught up in just traumatic aspect of it. Like it's a lot of people out there that's in their 40s and they still dealing with the traumas of their 20s, the traumas of their teenage years, the trauma of being a young child. They can't get over that shit. So it's like they can't create new memories or create anything new, right? And but that's where they are because they are not able to work through whatever it is that they went through, right? And so therefore everything is based off of that perspective, right? Because at the end of the day, if you went through some traumatic issue in your life, right? um I have to sit back and tell you guys again, like if you hear anything in the background, listen. It is what it is, music, whatever, that's beyond my control, right? But with people who are not able to get through or under, because it's like some things that happen in our lives, we're not going to be able to be in a place where we can sit back and say, oh, I understand why this happened, or make sense of things. You can't make sense of what you've gone through, or the reason why people can't make sense of what they going through is because you can't enter the mind of somebody else who projected onto you pain, who made you feel some type of way, who created an obstacle for you. You can't enter the minds of that person, right? And I'm talking about people who went through traumatic shit, like from who was hurt by a loved one, or someone who created a false reality or fed you lies. You don't have no control of how you was raised. If you was raised by a fucking monster, a person like a monster. I was just talking about this the other day. A monster. Like real talk. Like you don't have no control over that. A monster. I had made a post on another channel that I have in reference to different aspects of the things that I want to talk about, right? And I was talking about monsters, right? Some of us have been raised by true monsters. Whether it was someone you was related to or someone you wasn't related to, but they had that fatherly figure, that motherly figure, or a guardian, or you know what I'm saying, a foster parent, or just somebody who just found you, real talk, and decided to take upon certain roles. But my thing is the monsters, right? Right, and talking about the monsters, right? We're in a spooky season, so that's so interesting to me, right? How, like, I was talking about that because I was doing scary stories on my other channel that I have, right? Something outside of this one, right? Something, because I love Halloween, like that's my thing, right? and it is something that arrived from, when I was younger, and it makes me feel good. So that's why I have a channel in reference to that. That's something, like, I know it's people out there that don't celebrate Halloween based off of whatever viewpoints, whatever religion, whatever it is that they feel. And that's okay. That's where you are at in your life, right? And you got to do ultimately what makes you happy or what makes you move forward in this world that we're in or in this life, right? But I'm going to do what works for me, right? That's the power that I possess in my life, is making choices and decisions based off of what I want to do, and not because of what someone else is dictating to me, right? Because at the end of the day, you gotta take your power back. And a lot of people are not taking their power back from their situations that they were in, right? Because at the end of the day, if 2 years out of your whole life, you went through a effed up situation where you were abused, where you were manipulated mentally, you know what I'm saying? Where you was mind effed, where people took advantage of you. You know what I'm saying? Because happens, right? If you went through 2 years of that, and you got like about 40 more years on this earth, you got 40 more years on this earth, you gonna allow 2 years to dictate the rest of your life? That's crazy. That's insane. You know what I'm saying? I'm a big advocate for working through what it is that you went through, regardless of how heinous the shit was. Right? My experience, like, I never really went through the in depths of what I went through in my life because it's so irrelevant. Because the time span was so fucking short. It was short. But I know with some people out there who the time span that I spent and what I went through was short, right? But it's people out there who went through stuff for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. But still, at the end of the tunnel, there's a rainbow. At the end of the tunnel, there's new life. Like, at the end of that experience you went through, there's a new world that you could create for yourself, regardless. Like, you have, like, even there's people out there who had shorter experiences with trauma. It's funny how trauma could really um trauma could really control people's lives, the experiences that they've gone through. Now, I'm gonna say it one more time. Like, if you hear anything in the background, I don't have nothing to do with the music, the people talking and stuff. Like, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? I have to put that out there, right? But you have your life, your whole life ahead of you, right? You can have a certain type of perception or mindset and going into something, and do you realize this is a bunch of BS? This ain't what I signed up for, right? And you stay there thinking that it was gonna become what you thought it was gonna be, but then it never was, and people waste their time. And if you wasted your time and you have this awakening, regardless of whatever it is, tomorrow, today, even today for myself, right? It is 1:36 p.m. I could say to myself, like, I want to start my life over. I want to have different belief systems. I want to maneuver my life differently. And I have that choice to do so. And I could just bury everything that I went through before that. You feel what I'm saying? And that's what everyone has the opportunity to do, to start over, to realize the power that they have in their life. Regardless, it doesn't even matter if you have haters. It's always going to be somebody that's going to be hating on the choices and the decisions that you make as a woman, as a man, as a person, as a human being, as whatever you identify as, whatever you feel. You feel what I'm saying? It's always going to be a hater, And I realized that right? Because people who has been programmed to infringe upon other people's personal lives. You understand what I'm saying? At the end of the day, you're a grown ass person. You can make decisions for yourself. You can make decisions for yourselves, right? But a lot of people give their power away. You give your power away. And so, therefore, if you give your power away, then you don't have power in your life at all. Because you believe someone else has the power to make certain decisions in your life. And that's absolutely obscene, crazy, or whatever that like that. Right? But you have to tap into the power that you have for yourself. Right? So now when I'm moving forward, right, I'm gonna let you guys know that I have, like, even though right now actively I have a course going on, but it's too late for that, right? So boom, right? You can sign up for the live virtual call that's gonna be on December 5th this year, 2025, right? The ending of this year, okay? It's called Beautiful Transformation. Learn how to tap into your personal power, right? You go to www.beautifulstarpodcast.com, click Beautiful Transformation, and you signed up for it, right? Because people, you have to learn how to tap into your personal power, because we all have power in our lives, but because we allow other people to dictate what they feel or what they think our life should be. And another reminder that this live virtual call is going to be 8:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay, that's the time, right? You sign up for it, you be a part of this, and that's just what it is. And sign up for it now, right? You know, you have to work on yourself, right? When I say, work on yourself, right? It's this thing called true inner work. True inner work, right? Working on yourself takes a lot of time and patience, because sometimes we may want to get to the core so we can understand why we are the way we are. Sometimes this can lead to us realizing what's holding us back from growing, evolving in life, because that is what it is all about, bettering ourselves, right? Allowing ourselves at times to be in a state of self awareness. You want to be aware of what you're going through, the decisions that you're making. You want to be aware of that, and being aware of what we are feeling, going through on a deeper level. It's important to do that, right? Because sometimes you could cleanse yourself, right? Some people are always feeling bad about themselves, right? Because of past choices. You feel fucked up because of the choices that you made years ago. And you didn't, and it didn't result in what you, the outcome to be. But I remember someone said to me, a closed door is just as beautiful as an open door. It's just as impactful as an open door. Sometimes things that we want out of our lives is not going to work out. And you should see that as a form of protection, because it's going to be something else that is far greater for us. And that's important to know, right? Because some people be like, oh, I want to be like this, I want to do this, I want to do this. But then when it doesn't work out, it's okay, because something better and grand is going to come, right? That's how I program my mind to think about certain experiences or certain things, right? Because sometimes, you want things to happen. You think that you should be at a certain position in your life, but in reality, you shouldn't be there at all. You shouldn't be experiencing that. You shouldn't be feeling that. You shouldn't be going through that. right? But sometimes it takes a closed door for you to see the truth, right? Sometimes it takes something negative happen so you can see the positive in your own life personally, the things that you experiencing. I'm not trying to put this on anybody else because I'm not trying to um cast the blame card like, oh, this is why people's lives is like this, or this is why my life is like that. No, right? When I'm a put it back on me, right? Because I'm 42 years old, but I've been through so much stuff in my life that some people may think like, damn, you should be in a crazy house right now. You should be in a psych ward. Real talk. The stuff that I went through in my life. But I choose to be positive. I choose to move forward. I choose to see solutions instead of problems. I choose to focus on the outcome that I want out of my life, right? And even if the outcome is not what I wanted, it's protection on my behalf. Because a closed door is just as good as an open door. Like in the aspect of me reading books and opening my life to different aspects, different point views, or perspectives, and because I'm only on the East Coast. You know what I'm saying? Like, you guys who've been listening to this podcast for years, you already know. Like, I'm on the East Coast. I'm very, I'm in New York City. I'm gonna put that out there. You're like, yes, I shared this. This been going like I've been on this doing this podcast thing for years, years. This is not something that I just woke up yesterday and I decided. No, has been going on for years. So I'm not gonna belittle myself, but like I said, if you guys hear any noise in the background, that's beyond my control. But yeah, a closed door is just as good as an open door, and an open door is just as good as a closed door, because you know it's for you. And if something ain't for you, right? Like, people always talk about the universe. Oh, the universe told me this, universe da 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 da. But when things don't work out when you want something, like, let's say if you want something to happen in your life and it doesn't happen like that, why can't that be a blessing? When things don't work out the way you planned, why can't you see the things that you wanted to work out in your life and it doesn't work out, right? Things that you wanted to work out, it doesn't work out. Why can't you see that as a blessing? Like, okay, it wasn't for me at this time. Maybe I need to focus on other things, right? So everything ain't negative, just like everything is not positive. You feel what I'm saying? And and that's just really what it is. You know, it's just what it is. That don't mean you have to stop on your journey. That means it's just not that time for you. You know what I'm saying? That's just like if someone is in an abusive relationship. You with someone who ain't no good for you. He ain't no good for you. He beating you verbally, physically, bringing you down, making you feel all kinds of weird ways. And you really want to move on, but because this is a person that you feel like you supposed to be with, you feel what I'm saying? Oh, you feel like you supposed to be with this person, so you know what I'm saying? This is the end or be all, but really no. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you have to go back to the drawing board and put that energy into yourself. regardless of how you feel about this person. Because at the end of the day, you don't have the power to change anybody else, right? You have the power to change yourself, regardless. Even if someone give you their opinion or mess with your mind in a certain way, like it's people out there, their whole overall goal is to mess with you to make you feel like they have some type of power, but really it's all up to you. It's your power, right? It's your power, right? And so I'm gonna go back to this, right? So, at Beautiful Star Podcast here on the YouTube channel, right? There's a lot of things that I have going on outside of this YouTube channel, right? I have my podcast I have over 100 episodes that you guys can listen to that has valuable information, right? But then I also have private stuff that I have on my website. It's on www.beautifulstarpodcast.com. Anybody can sign up for it. Any things that I have going on, right? But here, right, I'm gonna let you know about this live virtual call that I have coming on December 5th at 8:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay, it's called Beautiful Transformation. Learn how to tap into your personal power. A lot of people don't realize that they have personal power. That's the thing. They give other people their power. They give other people their power. Real talk. They give other people their power. And they have faith in other people rather than themselves. But working on your inner self, the inner work, right? You have to spend time with yourself. Some people don't even they never spend time with themselves. It's people out there that never like once they reach a certain age, they never been alone. They always been in relationships, right? But it has to be alarming to say that, oh damn, every relationship I went through, it hasn't worked for myself. It hasn't worked. And once you come to that realization, you have to put yourself in some type of um focusing on yourself, right? On yourself, spending time with yourself, right? Because I don't want to use the word isolation. No, spending time with yourself, right? Because some people like kind of, they are against spending time and isolation, right? Boom. They're against isolation. They're against spending time with yourself, right? Right. But isolation and spending time with yourself is separate, right? It's separate. What happens if you want to go to the movies and your friends and your family's like, I don't want to see that movie? You're just not going to go see it, right? You're going to go see it. At least that's what I would do, right? And it's certain things that you want to work on in your life that other people don't want to work on. So you just spend time with yourself, right? When you're in the shower, you alone. At least, unless you know what I'm saying, you want some different type of time. People be on some different type of time with the showers. It is what it is. You grown, do as thou will. But the overall point that I was gonna say is just spending time with yourself and kind of like being in a space where you're journaling. It's important to journal and see exactly where you are at in your life. That's a great experience, like to be on some, right? You feel some type of way, instead of cursing somebody out, yelling at somebody, withhold that and then you write out your feelings. Because not everybody deserves to be yelled at, right? Because sometimes when people are yelled at, they they get your power and they could get you locked up. Like sometimes, you know what I'm saying? Like they get it and they manipulate it in a way in which they get you locked up in a place where you don't want to be at. You know what I'm saying? You get all kinds of cases, all kind of weird attention. Don't nobody need all that. Sometimes you have to conceal yourself. Even if it's like that's what I feel, right? You can do what you want to do. You're a grown ass person, but based off of my experiences, based off of my observation, don't nobody need that type of power in your life in which they could get you locked up. I don't care, right? Some people be like, "Oh yeah, you looking like a punk." Oh well, I ain't where people wanted me to be at. Some people overall goal is to take you down and to get you locked up in a position where you don't want to be at. Some people want to see you at your lowest of low, where you begging people for stuff, or where you know rock bottom, like you know what I'm saying. You could see like in my neighborhood, right? I can see people that have experienced rock bottom, right? And some people rock bottom is where they allow people to emotionally lead them to where they want them to be at. And it's like, no, regardless of whatever it is that I'm going through, I'm gonna have some type of control over my emotions. You have no power over me. For real. Straight like that. Like people want that type of power where they can control your emotions to get you in a position where they want you to be at. And it's like absolutely not. I went through so I feel like the major times in my life where I had to make major decisions. I was young, a little kid. This is where I learned this type of stuff from. Like being influenced by other people. You know, a lot of times people make decisions because they influenced by other people or being followers or want to be a part of the in crowd. It's nothing wrong with being alone to yourself. Especially when people don't like you and they want you to take the fall for everything. I don't give a like, you know what I'm saying? When you know you ain't do none of that shit, but people trying to put blame on you or cast blame on you, or you can't be a part of this group if you can't, you know what I'm saying, take this whatever it is, this little um this blame, you know what I'm saying? Like you can't take this, this charge when you know you ain't do that shit, but you was hanging with the crew. You wanted to be a part of a crew. Like ain't nobody got time for that. I ain't got time for that. I'm 42. Like I'm very um honest about my age. I don't have to lie about my age or what I've gone through in life. I'm old. You feel what I'm saying? I could be a grandma right now, B. Like real talk. I could be a grandma right now. Like, you feel what I'm saying? Like, I'm grandma status right now. I'm 42. Like, but I wake up and I feel regular. I feel young. Like, this is, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I feel absolutely young. Like, in my body, I just feel like the young woman that I have always been. Like, I feel it's kind of weird to, in this reality, in this life, I'm grandma status, B. I'm 42. Like, you know why I say that? Because it's a reality. I can't be a grandma. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of women out there who's 40 and a grandmother. There's a woman out there who's 35 and a grandma. So that's why I sit back and I'm not going to lie to myself about where I'm at in my life. But I'm really not in that aspect. I'm not a grandmother. Real talk. I'm not. But there's so many women that are. But that lets me know that the age that I'm at, it represents so much in this life. And it has a lot of power to it. But if I allow myself to be subjected to my past, like not letting go of what I used to be, or what people are projecting upon me. You feel what I'm saying? So I'm very conscious of that, and I'm aware, you know, like whenever you see like women beefing or whatever like that, and if there's an age gap, that younger person is attacking that older woman's age. It's it's ingrained in our society. It doesn't seem like, oh, okay, it's not in a place where, oh, okay, you're older, you got wisdom. It's like you're older, you don't exist no more. It's like you're invisible. But that's detrimental, because us as older women, right? We hold a lot of wisdom. We hold, for those people who, you know what I'm saying, who gathered wisdom, because everybody that's older don't have wisdom, right? But it's nothing new under the sun. It's nothing new. The things that people are experiencing in a young life, we have gone through a lot of that stuff. Like even the traumatic experiences, right? Why is it that there's always a new person experiencing domestic violence? Why? When there's millions of women and men who have experienced that. If you experience that, shouldn't there be a stop to it? Right? There's some type of gap in there. And you're talking about um different things too. I'm just saying DV, right? Domestic violence has so many different layers to it, right? When I set up this YouTube channel, yeah, I was talking about DV hard, and I tried to like separate myself from it, but I can't really separate myself from the domestic violence aspect, because it's still something that is actively going on, and it's going to continue to go on. And it's not just within my age community, it's within the woman community period, or now even the men community, whether old, young, it's people out there whose whole mission and purpose is to be abusive. But people don't want to talk about that, right? People don't want to think about something that they're not going through or going to experience in the future. They don't care about that. They in their own mind, whatever fantasy or whatever it is that's being projected on to people, right? Onto them, really. And that's just that simple, right? You would think, because you have a lot of older people who experience things that people are going through, right? You like when you think about cults, right? I don't really like to get into the aspect of cults, right? There was a whole generation of people going through cults before there was ever the internet where they could document it. But does that stop people from entering to cults or being followers or anything? No. It's gonna happen, right? But there's people out there that going through it, know everything, study it. It's even people out there who have never been through it that have studied it to the T, right? I never gave my full experiences in life. There's things that I have gone through that I have never ever spoken about on this channel. Yeah, I've spoken about domestic violence, but that's just a tiny bit of the trauma that I experienced in my life that I wanted to bring awareness to. But it's so little, even a traumatic, whatever it is that you're going through. I realized the trauma that I've gone through, the choices that I've made in my life is so small compared to the big world that I'm in, compared to the long life that I'm going to live. Because at the end of the day, if you have 50 years of living life, you're going to reduce yourself to 5 years that you experience. You gonna let the 5 years dictate the next 50 years of your life? That's on some realness right now. Like, I'm being very honest. Like, some people don't even think about that aspect of it. Like, oh, okay, I've, you know, gone through this, right? But I even gonna hold you, right? Some things are damaging, very damaging. You know what I'm saying? You ever had a vehicle that was in a car crash and some parts, they couldn't find no more of them parts because they didn't make no more of them parts. Like, you have a car that certain damages are you can't even change it because, all right, you got this vehicle, this car, but they stopped making parts, certain parts or whatever like that, right? But then what they do is they create a whole new car, right? Sometimes you got to create a whole new way of being and living your life. You got to take your power back or create power for yourself, right? Some people want you to put your power into them and feel like they have all the answers. You know what I'm saying? No. You got to make um you have to utilize the information that you have or seek it and work towards what it is that you want in your life. You have to create that power for yourself or become that power for yourself. Like, I'm an advocate for that. Like, I'm an advocate for bettering yourself, regardless of anything. Like, some people don't like me, they hate me. Like, I ain't even gonna front. Like, it's certain things I don't talk about. Like, I'm not like this person that, like, I have another channel, right? My other channel is very different from this, right? Because I tap into the dream world and different things like Halloween and fantasy type of shit, right? But this one, I like to be very honest. Well, even that channel, I'm very honest, but is I tap into in my a different realm, like a different. I don't want to say a different realm, but um, without using that word, but um, the sleep world. Like, I could say that more so. Like, I've when I was young, I always was intrigued with dreams, right? When I got older, I realized I did that because of the traumatic experiences I had as a child and really didn't know that's what it was, right? But it didn't end when I became an adult, in terms of the the dream world and the escapism, like being escaping. Because when you go through traumatic things, you look for different outlets, especially when you don't have outlets for it. When you going through stuff and you don't have anyone to talk to, right? You create something within your mind. You. Why am I stuttering? You utilize your mind and um for a escape, right? In a positive aspect. Some people, they don't do that, and then their escape is the outside world and the negative people that they hang around, and they do bad stuff. You know what I'm saying? And it's the other people that's like, they read books. Like, let's say if you went through something traumatic and you decide to go to the library. You go to the library and you pick up different books and you start to read, and it starts to open your mind to different realities, different aspects, different perspectives, and you have different viewpoints. And you know what I'm saying? Instead of sitting in front of a TV, you pick up a book and you read, and whether it's fiction, nonfiction, science fiction, um, whatever, um, whatever type of book it is, right? You open your mind to something other than what you experiencing, right? And it's people out there that do that, right? You know, they either watch TV, they go to the library, read books, or they make music. Some people out there going through stuff that are artists that they would never, you would never know nothing of that they went through, what they experienced. They utilize music as an escape, right? But with me, I tapped into my own inner self dreams, right? And I have a whole nother channel in reference to that. But this live is really not about that, right? But it has a lot to do with inner work, working on yourself, right? I'm not the type of person that judge people based off of what they experience, what they've gone through, or anything like that, or where they are at in their life. But the funny thing about that is that where they are at in their life in this day and time is a direct result of what they've gone through. What they gone through, real talk, is really what they gone through, you know. And some people are like, they don't want to accept the fact that, oh, I'm where I'm at because I went through this experience and it's led me to have these, make these certain decisions, you know. They just think that, okay, life is, this is just what it is. But you have a lot of control in your life, regardless of what anyone else telling you. Like, you can either create your reality or be a part of someone else's reality that they created for themselves, regardless of whatever it is, regardless if it's real or fake. Cause everyone life is truth. My life is truth. Your life is truth. You know, that's what I learned in my little 42 years. Even though I'm saying 42, but it feels like 43 already. Sometimes I tell people I'm 43. It's weird. It's a weird reality, but it's not true though. But yeah, so like I said, if you hear anything in the background, it is what it is. Like, it's a lot of things going on back behind me, but you know, it's all about really taking your power back and working on yourself, building yourself up, being positive, right? Sometimes I ain't even gonna front with the positivity, right? You could go into a situation and be positive, but then the energy can be so overbearing. Like, how can you work in an environment where you know everybody don't like you, yo? They don't like you because of what someone said, or you know, some people main goal is to kind of like bring you fucking down because they don't like you or they feel threatened by you. That's like a hard pill to swallow. But the thing is, moving forward and doing what it is that you need to do, regardless. That's just what it is. Um, right? So I have to let you guys know that to sign up, definitely sign up for this live virtual call that I'm going to be having, right? This live virtual call is titled Beautiful Transformation, Learn How to Tap into Your Personal Power. And this live virtual call will be on December 5th at 8:45 p.m., right? You can sign up at www.beautifulstarpodcast.com. Definitely sign up for that. It's life changing. And also, right, I have a free, it's definitely free, right? Boom. So it's free. So you sign up for this meaningful meditation. This group will be held once a month at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on a Thursday, right? And it's for 30 minutes. Okay? It's absolutely free. So, but it's once a month, right? This is not every month, right? I mean every week. Okay? But it's once a month. for free once a month. Okay, so if you want to be a part of that, definitely go to www.beautifulstarpodcast. Definitely sign up for that. Meditation is definitely a way in which you could um work on yourself. You feel me? Like quiet your mind, right? Because sometimes our mind be everywhere. It's crazy. I done drunk all my damn stuff, right? So it's definitely, you want to quiet your mind. Sometimes our mind be everywhere, and so you want to do that. But yes, go to my website. You can see everything that's going on. If I'm not going live here, then you know that, something else is popping on. Like, um it's always something going on. It's always something going on that Beautiful Star podcast. Whether I'm going live, whether I have my free podcast that you guys can listen to. You can listen to it wherever you can listen to podcasts, or go to my website, or the things that you have to pay for, because there are services that you have to pay for, and it is what it is, right? But yeah. So I'm gonna get off of here because I got a lot of things to do. I'm sorry if you hear any music or anything in the background. Hey, I have no control of what's going on around me, but I decided to go live. It's been a long time. But thank you so much. Okay. I hope I see you guys on December 5th, or the following Thursday, for the free meditation or whatever. But